Goody, Sister Guy Christine, and today we're checking out another illymation animation. You guys have been like saying, hey, check out illymation. I've gotten a lot of requests to check this video out for the longest time, back when she first released it, but there was a lot of other things happening. I think there was a lot of other videos that we had, checked out over time. But in seeing her in the YouTube Rewind, I was like, oh, let me revisit illymation, because I loved the Chick-fil-A video. I freaking loved it. It was one of my favorite videos. I love the way she tells her storytelling and the subtle things with the eyebrows of the animated character that she made. And I'm so happy that she was able to be a part of YouTube Rewind, that she was acknowledged in it. So we're going to check her out today. This is how I met my abusive ex-boyfriend. I think she has a follow-up video, which is how I left him. So we're going to see what this video is about. Link is in the description box below for you to check out. Now let's get started. Also, let's see how angry I'm going to be in this video. That's what you should do, have an angry counter. And then you guys can guess how angry or how many times I'm going to be angry down below, especially if you've already seen the video. And then we'll actually see how many times I get angry or have rants. We'll see.
All right, who's here for the chaos?
I'm here for the chaos!
I said who's here for the chaos?
I'm here for the chaos!
This is a super long story, and it's really hard to condense without cutting out any important details.
Okay.
So this is part 1 of a 3-part series. The other 2 parts will be linked in the description and made into a playlist on my channel as soon as I finish them.
Okay.
Whew.
Oh, wait, what'd she say? She said something. Let me read that. I'm in my senior year of anime college. I'm trying to upload monthly and stream as much as I can and get my degree. Please be patient. Thanks. Okay. Completely understand.
Whew. Okay. I'm going to start out with what you absolutely need to know. I dated in quotes because that's illegal. It started when I was 13 and he was 17.
That's an exaggeration. Nice clickbait, Illy.
No, it is not an exaggeration. If you're 17 years old, applying to colleges, driving, maybe you have a job.
Why would you wait a minute. Hold the phone. I was stuck on... There's so much happening at once. Let's take this back.
That's illegal. It started when I was 13 and he was 17.
This is not the amazing or I can't say that name. So don't bother them, please. Thanks. Okay. Why would a 17-year-old be with a 13-year-old? What is wrong with you that you're 17 and you're like, hey, you know what? I'm going to date a 13-year-old. I'm not a fan of this guy already. Obviously, I wasn't going to be because of the title, but that's disgusting. That's disgusting.
That's an exaggeration. Nice clickbait, Illy.
No, it is not an exaggeration. If you're 17 years old, applying to colleges, driving, maybe you have a job. Why would you have a crush on someone who's literally in middle school? You know what kind of boys I was into in middle school? Kovu from The Lion King 2. Moving on. But if the age difference there isn't enough to prove he was a predator, this person also pressured me into sending explicit...
Okay, hold on. Okay, how does wanting me to buy you things prove me as a person? Hold on. My profile pic changes because earlier screenshots were taken and sent to the police. Oh, okay. Wait, as a person or wanting nudes while I'm at work or not being supportive of my swimming or not wanting me to sleep, none of that helps you. I'm just a crappy leech. You don't need me. Okay, I didn't mean to make you feel bad. Just make you aware. Get some sleep. What? What? Well, you did, and now I feel like I'm a useless piece of crap, and I want to die. Wait, what? I'm confused. Okay, I'm confused.
But if the age difference there isn't enough to prove he was a predator, this person also pressured me into sending explicit pictures of myself and threatened me when I said no, which I...
Okay, yeah, it's not a big deal. I don't see how it's all I put you through. You feel as though you're entitled to the money I make in my body, and when I get upset about that, you just play the, oh, I was just kidding card and call me sensitive. You're, oh, okay. You don't care about me at all. You only care about the money I make, and if I'll show you my, wow. I'll tell you things I'm proud of or stressed about, and you just say, okay, you don't care. I'm going to sit here for months hoping you change, but all I get is, sorry, that's how I am. LOL, send news when you're going to buy me things. If you don't change, you'll be out one, friend. I want to say run this guy over with the car. And if after all this you think I need to change, then don't talk to me. And don't even threaten. I'll go tell a family member. Props. Okay? Props. I hate, if you follow my channel, if you follow my gaming channel, you know, I freaking hate when people, I call it holding someone hostage emotionally, okay? Like being an emotional terrorist. That's what I call it. When someone threatens suicide, they're not serious about it, but they use it as a ploy. And it used to happen on my gaming channel. That issue had to stop. I would literally stop in the middle of streams and tell, listen, if that's how you seriously feel, go talk to somebody. But don't play that issue in my stream where you're just saying it for attention, because people will do that. And that is horrible to do. I freaking hate that. So much so I put it in the rules of my stream. Like, hey, if you actually feel this way, call this number. They gonna help you out. Talk to a family member. Do something like that. But do not use it in the stream to get attention. That is despicable. And I hate when people do that.
I did. So go ahead. Say age is just a number, and I'm blowing this whole thing up out of proportion. Go on. I'm used to it, because that's what he told me.
That's all in your mind.
For
you need
5
to control that.
years.
It's nothing to
Here's
do
what
about.
happened.
Dear.
When I was 13, just like many of you watching, I was interested in drawing, illustrating,
Look at you.
Kovu from The Lion King 2, making comics, digital painting, and even animating. I had a deviant art with cringy meme drawings and Lion King OCs, do not steal. Like, if you're gonna judge me on anything in this video, judge me here, okay? I was a kid. I wrote Harry Potter fan fiction. I was in middle school.
Oh, really?
I was 13, and I made an account on a now deleted website called Art Spots. It was like Agio or Draw Some. You just draw online with other random people, and there's a chat box on the side. And in retrospect, I think Art Spots was a furry website. Anyway,
really?
one day, someone popped in and said they liked my drawing. And they asked how old I was. I said I was 13. They said they were 17, and they thought my art was so good that I had to be an art teacher or something. Now, this may seem like a compliment, and it is, especially from someone older than you. And that's exactly what I was thinking. But considering what would later happen, this is called grooming. Grooming is when someone builds an emotional connection with a child to gain their trust for the purposes of abuse. The predator gains the child's trust, breaks down their defenses, and then convinces the child to engage in their desired disgusting acts. And I really want to stress, hindsight is 2020. If I could gaze into the future, I would have logged off and never gotten on a computer ever again. But I'm not that so Raven. So from there, this guy shared his entire life story with me. That he was graduating high school soon, had a crush on this girl who put him in the friend zone, and he was severely depressed because of that. And all he wanted was a friend. But, and this is important, he told me to never tell my parents about our friendship. Why? Because they wouldn't understand us. We're like Romeo and Juliet, okay?
What?
Illy, you have to be stupid to not see these obvious red flags. I would never let that happen to me.
No.
Don't say that you wouldn't. Like, it obviously, us coming in, knowing the situation, those are red flags, and you have more time to think about it now because, well, you had more time to think about it then. But it's all in retrospect, right? Because even hearing what he's saying, like, don't tell your parents, that sounds creepy to me. As an adult, I'm not a 13-year-old girl right now, although I do hope that for some people it does kind of sound like a sign, like, this guy's telling me not to tell my parents about our relationship, they wouldn't understand us, and we're like Romeo and Juliet, and he's 17, he's about to be 18 years old. So I hope that for some people it does kind of make your spidey senses tingle, but for some people it won't. You're 13 years old. So, you know, I'm not going to blame her in this situation, but I do hope that something like this doesn't happen to other people as well.
I wasn't stupid. I was 13, just like many of you watching. Just think about all the normal friends you've made online, like through Minecraft or Roblox. And then imagine if this happened to you. No one really tells you about these things, so that's all I'm trying to do in this video series. God bless. Go in peace. So eventually, we moved our conversations to AIM, then Skype, then texting. AIM. And as time went on, he demanded more and more from me. And he never seemed to understand that I was 3 hours ahead of him. I lived in North Carolina, and he lived in California. So I couldn't exactly stay up late talking every night. But to that, he'd accuse me of ignoring him and hating him. And one night when I fell asleep, I woke up to a barrage of texts from him saying he was going to kill himself because I was ignoring him. And I called him a million times, and after hours of calling and
oh my goodness, I freaking hate it.
And texting him that I was sorry and it wouldn't happen again, he finally responded.
No.
And thankfully he was okay. But I was not.
Goodness.
At 13, I couldn't imagine being the reason someone killed themselves.
Right.
No
What
matter
kind of
how much
emotional-
staying up till 1, 2, sometimes 3 in the morning
Terrorism
was
is that?
destroying me. But from that night on, out of fear, I stayed awake. By high school, our
goodness.
friendship completely took over my life because when I was with friends or family, he'd do anything to make me leave them and talk to him. He'd blow up my phone while I was at dinner. If I didn't respond, he'd call me awful things just to bait me into giving him attention. Even on prom night, he tried convincing me to stay home. And when I didn't comply, he went silent, which worried me to death. And he later explained he did this as a punishment for ignoring him. He would do anything and everything to keep me isolated from friends and family. And his favorite tactic? Threatening suicide.
I hate that.
Why didn't you just leave? Just log off.
I did. But
It's
again,
hard to
he had
do that.
every means to contact me. Even my home address. So if I just logged off, he could swat me. Death was something he constantly held over my head. That's
Oh my
terrifying.
goodness.
So why
That
did I
is.
stay? Stockholm Syndrome. Stockholm Syndrome is a condition that causes hostages to develop a psychological alliance towards their captors as a survival strategy. This can also be the case for those in abusive relationships.
True.
So, every time he threatened suicide, I would talk him off the cliff by saying exactly what he wanted to hear. I don't want to go hang out with my friends. I don't want to go eat dinner with my family. I don't want to go on that date. I don't want to go to school. I don't want to go to work.
Oh my gosh.
I don't want to go anywhere where I can't be with you.
Oh my goodness.
And after months and years of saying exactly what he wanted to hear, I started to believe it. Just like he wanted me to. I felt brainwashed, trapped in my own mind games. And slowly, he broke me down, made me choose sides, and conditioned me to do anything he wanted.
Oh my goodness.
And why did he want me so badly? Well, when I was 15, he used these tactics to take inappropriate pictures of me. And he saved them on his computer in what he called his personal collection. By this time, he had just turned 21. This is where, to him, our friendship turned into a relationship. You can skip to here to avoid reading these messages.
Okay, hold on. Skip to 6:35. That's 35 seconds. It's nothing graphic, no pictures. It's just evidence of him pressuring, coercing me. If anyone talks to you like this, check the helpful links in the description box. I'm going to skip to 6:35 because we definitely have a great enough of what she said already to create an image of what he has done. If you do want to see the specific things that he said, check out her video. Link is in the description box below. But I'm going to go ahead and skip forward because I already feel extremely grossed out by this guy.
I know you claim that this adult man pressured you into sending explicit pictures of yourself, and you have the messages to prove it. Or whatever. But shouldn't you respect his privacy and not use his real name?
He invaded my 15-year-old body.
Goodness.
Your privacy.
Oh,
Your
wow.
privacy.
Every day, after school, during the summer, even while I was at work, he demanded I stop whatever I'm doing and send him no less than 30 Snapchats a day. And if I said no, which I did, he'd find a way to force me. I remember one time I begged him for hours to leave me alone. I even told him that this was considered CP and that he could go to jail. And you'd think if someone was confronted with this kind of information, they'd go,
Oh man, I don't want to go to jail.
Right.
You're right. What I'm doing is awful. I should really stop
Not a twisted
harassing and
person,
threatening
though.
you to...
Nope, not Harris. These pictures of me were so important to him, he'd do anything to get them. So he found a way to deny, deflect, and blame me for everything.
I can't believe you think I'm a... What is wrong with you? Are you crazy? Do you have any idea how that makes me feel as your boyfriend? Do you think I'm a...
This is called gaslighting. Gaslighting is where the abuser denies reality and convinces the victim to doubt their own memory, perceptions, even sanity. And like always, Harris threatened suicide if I didn't go along with him. So when I try to tell him what he's doing is wrong, is disgusting, is against the law, I ended up being the one apologizing to him.
Goodness.
For making him cry. Cry more, dude. What's wrong? This went on until I graduated high school and went to college.
Wow.
And remember that girl who friend-zoned him in high school? Around this time, she reached out to me, telling me to run, to block him, to cut him off immediately.
Oh, wow.
Because truly, he harassed her back in high school, stalked her in real life. And when she blocked his phone number, Harris used a website to make up fake phone numbers so he could still contact her and harass her. I didn't want to think this was true.
Oh my goodness. When my mom was out here, and my mom and sister were out here for the past weekend, hey family, love you, they were watching The Perfect Guy, and when she's saying this stuff, it made me think of, like, because I didn't get to see the whole movie because I was, like, in and out, walking around doing stuff in the house, but I remember that part where, like, if you haven't seen The Perfect Guy, it's about, this is, like, the general, it's not a spoiler, because this is what they tell you in the trailers, but this girl dates this guy for a little bit of time, something goes wrong, and he turns out to be a psycho crazy stalker. Like, he goes berserk crazy. And he, like, you know, was finding ways to still contact her. I won't say specific things because I don't want to spoil it for anybody who wants to check it out. It's called The Perfect Guy. It's on, actually, I think we had the movie, and that's how we saw it. Or that's how she saw it. I still haven't watched it yet. But anyways, just find it and watch it. Nonetheless, he still would try to call her from different numbers. And when she said that, I was like, oh my goodness, it's just like that. That movie was crazy. Crazy.
True, but then again, if it was happening to someone else, maybe it was. So I brought these allegations up to Harris, and he became so angry at me. He denied doing any of that, despite the proof she had. He accused me of lying. He told me to never speak to her again. And he demanded all of my passwords on every social media platform to make sure of it. He also threatened to kill me and then himself if I didn't comply.
Whoa!
You could have said no.
No, I couldn't have. I was terrified. You don't know what it was like. You don't get to say that to me. And millions of other young children who are lured into this kind of evil every day. We don't need to be told what to do or how to feel. We've had enough of that from these awful people who hurt us. What we need is for someone to finally listen and believe us. People like Harris do not deserve your empathy. People like Harris do not deserve the benefit of the doubt. Because people like Harris thrive when others are complicit. The more we turn the other cheek, say, that's none of my business, or even worse, blame literal children for the evil they had to bear and the childhood they had to sacrifice. The more this happens, the more people like Harris get away with it. This is why I'm telling this story years after it happened. I want to warn others, especially those watching who are as young as I was.
Is so sad.
And sadly, this story is only the beginning. Most of you know, I grew up in North Carolina and moved to California for college. And a lot of you have asked me, how could you do that? You're leaving your whole family. You've never even been to California.
But it's a normal thing.
Well, Harris made me.
Oh, dear. Oh,
And
goodness.
I'll get into that in the next video.
Oh, my gosh. Baby girl, I'm sorry that this happened to you. I'm sorry that this is something that you went through or that you dealt with. I'm really, truly sorry. The thing is, anybody who is that, okay, let me rewind. I love that she includes she calls that character the advocate? Yeah, the advocate. And she had it in her other video. It's like those people that always come up with the excuse. They say it's your fault that this happened to you, or what were you wearing? There was something I was reading on Instagram where if a girl says something happened to them and they wait too long, then it's like, why didn't she say anything, is what people say. If she says the right amount, like immediately they'll be like, well, what was she wearing? What was she doing? You know, it's always a way to cast blame on the victim versus the abuser, the person who is actually the bad person doing bad stuff. I'm sorry that this happened to her and that this was something that she dealt with. It's a new day and age, okay? And it's hard to say at 13 years old, when depending on what they're saying, you know, whether you should know to stay away or not to. I understand it gets hard, but I do agree that sharing the story can help people, like other kids, learn about that. You guys are on the internet. You guys are on YouTube in comment section. You guys are on DeviantArt. You guys are on Tumblr. Some of y'all are. On Twitter, Instagram, all sorts of stuff. You're meeting a lot of people that you're not going to physically touch in your life ever, right? Be careful. Be very, very careful, because you never know what that person is like on the other side. If everything's all light and fluffy and fun, then that's one thing. Don't share too much of your private information. Don't give them your address, your phone number, none of that. If you meet them in person and you develop a friendship or relationship, that it's hard to see where that line is. But if they tell you they're freaking 5 years older than you and you're a kid, block them immediately. Like, don't even carry on a conversation like, oh, maybe this person's different. No, block them. Because anyone who has the attention, they're 17, you're 13 years old. They're like, don't tell your parents about our relationship. They do not have good intentions. If it is a good intention type of situation, then they would say, you can share your I love with your parents because there's nothing wrong with it. But if they know something is wrong with what they're doing, they will tell you not to tell anybody. So that protects them. And the fact that he was using those things, those predatory tools to keep her under his thumb is sickening. And it's sad that this does happen because you have people who get pulled into that and sucked in and then are forced to continue and stay under the thumb of abusers like this. And it's sad. It's sad that stuff like this happens. And he threatened to kill her, threatened her life, and he knows where she lives. You don't want to share all that information. You want to make sure that this person does not have any actual physical way to hurt you. So protect yourselves. And if ever anyone's like, hey, don't tell your parents right away. Tell them right away. Even in experiences that I've had where somebody felt some type of way, I'm like, tell your parents when they experience something. It wasn't like this, but in an aspect where they felt like they were going to hurt themselves. They felt like they were going to, they did not want to live anymore. I encourage them, talk to your parents, talk to your family members, call the number, go out there, get help. Because through the line of the internet, I will not be able to save your life. Here are tools that you can physically touch and talk to that will help you do those things. I'm sorry this happened to her. Baby girl, I'm sorry this happened to you. Man, this sucks. And I really do hope that anyone who does feel like they're in a situation like that right now learns and means of ways to get help and get yourself out of that. Talk to somebody. Tell your parents. If you like that video, check out the link in the description box below to support illymation. Also, you'll be able to see the messages that she included. I think it was like from 6:35, or no, from the 6 minute mark to 6:35. So it was like 35 seconds of messages that you can check out. Link is in the description box below. If you like this video, hug the like button. I love you guys as always, and until next time, buddies. Toodles.